Hello, my beautifuls. Okay, so I've probably had about 7 people in the last week and a half ask me to start going live, and I'm getting back to doing some YouTube videos. So I'm home and I'm in my at-home clothes, and I've been really trying to work on starting the podcast, right? Really been busy with getting readings, businesses picked up for me. I'm not complaining by any means, oh, I got my sage going. So if you see the smoke in the background, my house ain't on fire. I'm going to go ahead and start with water, right? I did podcasts today, and we're all going through this transition of this tower moment, right? And so I really wanted to get a little deeper if I was going to go ahead and do a video, right? Why we're going through the tower of emotions between heart and ego. And so the first 3 cards that came out, we have abundance of solace, right? Which is the stellar blessings of the celestial goddess of abundance, right? So this is letting us know, right? This is our harvest. It's our breakdown of our energies, right? And so with that, that's why you are pulling the shadow diver, right? Really just going deep in your emotions, right? Trying to get down to the light that's at the end of the tunnel, right? Why are we breaking this energy down in our emotions? Because we want to start over, right? We want new emotions, we want to wipe everything clean, and we want to start with a blank slate, right? Because our abundance is on the line here, right? And then we also have being protected by our angels, our ancestors, our guides, right? Being able to connect with ourselves on a deeper level, right? Of really getting in to our heart chakra energy, right? Because if we're staying in ego, right, that's very much that 9 of Swords kind of energy. And so we're going to go ahead, and I got my Crow Tarot, right? So we're just going to kind of dig a little deeper, water signs, into figuring out what we need to do in order to balance. And then I have some clarifiers if we need to clarify, right? So I'm really trying to find out why we're going deeper, right, in the shadow of this shadow diver, right? Getting down to the bare minimum rawness, right, of our emotions. And you have death and rebirth, right? Because when we are going through this spiral, right, each stair, right, is a completion, right, of going down, which makes sense why it's about the death and the rebirth, right? Because it's about getting down to the purity, right? The purity, water signs, of your emotion. Transforming those emotions, because you know, obviously, that our harvest, right? The seeds that we're planting, right? Our abundance is at the bottom of our purity, right? Of our rebirth. So we can start with a blank slate, right? Really clean the slate, get new emotions, because we now know that we are protected, right, by our angels, our ancestors, our guides, right? She's got the sword of truth right next to her, right? Tucked under her wings, right? So it's very much about going deep within and clearing, right, these spirals, these stairs. Every stair is a 10 of Cups, right? Because you've completed that cycle, and now we're ready to do the deep dive into the next emotion that's coming through, right? So let's find out about our death and rebirth here. Getting down to the purity of our emotions. Got it, Spirit? All right, because we have then the Lovers, right? It's about your heart chakra energy, bringing these 2 energies together, going through this transformation, right? So heart and ego, right, can work together, and we can ground this energy and then take flight, right? Because then heart and ego are now functioning with one heart chakra, right? making our decisions in heart, because remember, this alignment is all about putting ourselves in the alignment to manifest properly through the moon cycles, right? Then that gives us balance and happiness, right? Which I love that energy. It's really beautiful. To go through death and rebirth, right? Wiping it clean, starting over. I'll be back. Why are we starting over, right? Because Spirit is telling us we need to make a choice, right? We need to make the choice in the Two of Swords to move forward. We can't keep ourselves stagnant, right? Because it doesn't matter how long we hold on to not making a choice, right? And I think that was one of the water signs and podcasts. I think that was one of the decisions. Don't make a choice yet until you've completed that cycle in getting into that heart chakra energy. For the lover's energy, equally giving and receiving, transforming this energy to start over, right? So here it is, you're blindfolded, yes. Not seeing with your eyes, hearing with your eye, listening to your intuition, right? Because the longer you keep yourself here, right, if you start sliding after a while, you're going to cut yourself on these two sword blades, right? So Spirit is telling you, look, I mean, even the way it is now, look, right? You got to make the choice to go through this transformation of heart first to be able to find some kind of happiness, right? To be able to wipe the slate clean, which is exactly what you're trying to do, right? In the rawness of these emotions. Because then you have the King of Wands, right? King of Wands energy, right? Learning to balance this volatile energy, right? To be able to be an Empress energy, birthing abundance, flying, because heart chakra, see, has been transformed, and now you have a clean slate. Now you don't have to look and wish, right? Now it's putting that forward movement where it needs to be, right? Your fires, your passions, your desires. Fire signs delivered us a tower in today's podcast, right? Because it was all about the rawness of emotion, right? The opening of the third eye and the crown chakra, right? So this is all about maintaining happiness, right? Moving forward so you can build and create, so we can harvest, right? Harvest in that abundance. Which is why we have Shadow Diver, right? Which is why we have death and transformation, right? Getting down to the purity, right? Getting down to picking the bone clean and getting a clean slate here, because we are protected by our angels, ancestors, guides, right? To be able to move this energy forward in the Empress, right? So we can receive justice and balance and truth and clarity in this lifetime, right? Because then we have that Three of Pentacles, right? There are still some things, right? That's why we have that Shadow Diver water signs. There are still some things in your emotions that you can't see. But you're wearing your crown, and then it's about how you're using these emotions to make that forward movement, right? To get that clean slate, right? It's about climbing that mountain, even though you don't know what's at the bottom of doing the deep dive of those shadow, that rawness of heart, right? And getting the best berries, right? Because then you're moving up where you need to be, right? And the people, I call them, right, bottom pickers, the people that aren't going through their transformation or not awakening this go round, right, are coming up to the top, and they're bottom picking, right, the cherries that are already on the ground. Why? Because that's the fucking easiest for everybody to get, right? Right. So you, being in water, are beautiful. I love my water signs. You guys always fucking fuck me up in my emotions, but I love you. Have now learned to wipe the slate clean, because you went through your death and rebirth, balanced out heart chakra and unity between heart and ego, made the choice, right, to get that clean slate, to be in the King of Wands energy, that masculine prioritizing, right? Very much your abundance, right? I want my abundance, which is why you're making that forward movement in Empress energy, because that's where the abundance is, right? Is getting the justice in this lifetime that we deserve, right? In our emotions, because it hasn't been easy for us to get where we are. I understand that, you understand that, right? But the collectives that are now starting to come in this second wave, right? It is very much, we have till the end of this year, right, to close out these cycles. And then the people that are awakening need to be able to step into that leadership role, right? To be able to master thyself, right? Because then we have 2 years, and then the next set of collectives, oh, I'm getting goosies. And then the next set of collectives start to come in. By then, we've mastered our emotions, set forward in where we're going, made the changes that need to be made, right? And then we've turned around, and then now we have a hand, right? A voice. Now we can teach them how to step into their enlightenment, their awakening, their journey, right? Which this is really beautiful energy. All right, Spirit, anything else that we need to know? Yes. All right. I can't make this shit up. All right, we'll get to that. Because then our abundance, right? We had the abundance here, the blessings of the celestial goddess, right? Look where our ending energy is. 10 of Pentacles. That is why you are working so hard, water signs, to get into that raw emotional death and rebirth energy, right? Because it gives us justice and balance, the 3 of Pentacles, right? Insight on what we're moving towards, right? Because it's about building what it is that we see, what we want for the future, right? We can no longer be in the past, right? It's about the unity of heart and ego, and moving that into the future, because that's where our abundance is. So that's why the Tower came in, right? Because you had to do that shadow dive, right? And go through this death and transformation. You had to be clear of mind, clear of heart to make forward movement, because it gives us the Ace of Wands. And see, the smoke is clearing, right? And here's our angels, right? There's the angels right here that have us in protection, right? So now here's the feathers, and here's all the smoke clearing, and now we're able to see, right? For that forward movement of those fiery, passionate, creative energies, which is why we have the King of Wands energy, right? The potential to find happiness, right? Here's the wand right there, Ace of Wands, right? Of why it is we are making room for love, compassion, right? The journey of spirit, because we end it in our abundance. Why are we getting our abundance? Because we have now cut, tied, and binded, right? All toxic energies, and freed ourselves from whatever was keeping you, right, in this 2 of Swords energy, right, being stagnant, not making a choice, right, to go deeper in the shadow diver, so you could go through death and rebirth of your emotions, because it was for the abundance, right, the harvest, which is really beautiful. Because I want to get a little deeper in this Tower, see if I can get a little more information, Spirit. What is this Tower about? Okay, so the Tower in this death and rebirth energy with the shadow diver, right, wiping the slate clean so we can start over, is all about not placing judgment, right? Lighting up the darkness, right? There's that shadow diver and death and rebirth, right? Because you're tired of fighting yourself, going through the conflict, right? So because you weren't making the movement, Spirit had to bring that tower in so you would be able to focus and put yourself in alignment in solar plexus energy, right? So you could see and feel where your forward movement was going to be, right? That way there was no judgment on the table. Got it, Spirit. So what's the overall ending energy? Shut up. Justice. You have justice twice. See, it's about getting justice in this lifetime, my beautifuls. Justice. Here's the feathers, right? There's the feathers. In the Ace of Wands energy, right? So it's about the justice, the clarity, the truth of heart, about working with Spirit, which is why Spirit delivered you the tower, so you would go deeper and think outside the box and not make any judgment call until after you went through your transformation of getting into heart chakra energy, the rawness of where your heart is, right? For the abundance that you have twice on the table too, I might add. So you would finally make the choice, Two of Swords, to free yourself from any people, places, things that are toxic in your energy that are keeping you from moving forward. So there's no judgment placed on heart chakra energy, or you're not in your head with ego, right? Because you've already gone through the death and transformation, made the choice to say, this is what I'm going to do. This is my forward movement. No fucks given. Because, oh, beautiful, beautiful, because your masculine energy is in the King of Cups. Heart chakra energy. You're not letting ego push you to making any decision unless it feels good in heart. You need to work with heart and mind together, right? That's why you have justice twice on the board. For the Page of Wands to move forward in your happiness, the things that fulfill your soul, that set your soul on fire. Because you have now, everything is starting to clear so you can see into the future, because you went through the death and rebirth. We're under protection, got justice twice, right? Balance, clarity, truth, right? In your passions, made the decision because you weren't moving forward, and that's okay, right? So Spirit brought in the fucking tower so you'd actually do the work, light up the darkness, go through that shadow spin, right? The stairway, right? To get to the light at the end of the tunnel, right? Get down to the bare rawness of where heart chakra is, because you were tired of fighting and being in conflict with yourself, and Spirit knew that, so they're like, okay, fine. So we're going to deliver the tower, so they'll do the work, right? Eight of Pentacles. Because you can't be crying over spilled milk. We have something better for you after this death and rebirth. That's what brings the lovers in, right? Working in heart chakra energy between ego and heart. Because you needed to be out of this energy so you could turn around and understand what the lovers and unity was all about. I love this energy. I freaking love this energy. So I'm going to pull, let's use our sweet dreams for this one. So let's get a couple spirit messages, and then I'll let you go, water signs. What? Damn it. So, first spirit message is flow. I now open myself to the inspiration and watch creativity flow through me. Justice and balance. Feel, heal, release. Release. There's that devil energy. Releasing yourself from the chains and that are binding. So Spirit is telling you it's about doing the work, get in the flow, right? Any other messages, Spirit? Okay, one more. Overall ending energy is love. My heart is open to love as it manifests into the world. And then we have change. I embrace change in the new day and I adapt to what is to come. What is to come is our abundance and getting heart and ego to get justice, right? To be able to get unity in the lovers, right? To work together towards the future. Ace of Wands. Peace and love. I'm out, you guys. I love you guys so much, and I will start trying to now start adding in the YouTube videos, because it makes a lot more sense for me to do the videos when I'm off, right, and have free time, because then it helps when I go through doing the podcast energy. And again, you can find me if you want to hear the podcast. You can listen to my podcast. I'm on Anchor or Spotify, right? And it's Mystic Karma by Victoria. Same as my YouTube, same as my Facebook page, right? So much peace, so much love. I love you guys. And thanks for asking me to come back.